An auxiliary modal is an auxiliary that we use with a verb and will slightly change the meaning of the verb. So we will see them one by one and see their uses. We'll start with can. Can could be first an ability, something that I am able to do, such as my son can play the piano very well. He has this ability. Good. Or sorry, I cannot assist you in your task today. So as you see on the right side, we can use can as a present or a future. Great. So I cannot assist you in a task today, but if I change today for tomorrow, sorry, I cannot assist you in your task tomorrow, that will work too. Good. So it is exactly the same way, the same structure of the sentence. We don't change anything, but we can use either present or future. Good. Then can be an offer. So can I help you? Or can Max call you back later? Could be also a request, something that I ask to somebody. But in that case, it would be more familiar to use can. So you will use can with your family, friends, or colleagues if you feel comfortable with them, right? So this is very more informal and familiar. For example, can I sit here? Or can you give me a hand, please? Great. Now we'll go to could. Could can be the past of can when we refer to an ability. Good. So I have the ability to do something. I can do something in the present, but in the past, I could. I had this ability. Great. Let's see here. When I lived in Spain, I could speak Spanish very well. So I had this ability when I lived in Spain. This is a past situation. Or I could not go to my appointment yesterday. Well, I couldn't go. It's a past situation, right? Now, if we check out the two other uses, offer, request, and possibility, in those cases, could will be used strictly in the present and in the future, right? So could we meet at 5 o'clock tomorrow? So this is an offer, okay? Or could I help you? All right. In that case, could is more polite than can. If I say, could I help you, either than can I help you? So could would be more polite. You would say that more to your customers, to an older person, or a senior. Good. So it is more polite than can. Great. And we could also use could as a possibility. Good. If we say, we could have lunch outside. So we could, it's a possibility. All right. Then we switch to should. So should is more an advice, something that I advise you to do, right? Or for myself, I should make an effort and finish that job once and for all. Good, I really should do it. Good, but you should see a doctor if you don't feel better tomorrow. She should not put too much pressure on herself. Well, what should we do with that problem? We can ask also for an advice. Should I come earlier in the morning? As for the other models that we have seen, we use should for the present and the future. So you will see that most of them are used either in the present or future. Now, would. Would doesn't mean anything by itself. So it needs to be used with a verb to mean something. It's a form of conjugation, a bit like the auxiliary will. So will form the future, but it doesn't mean anything when it's used by itself. Okay? Will or would needs to be used with a verb. Good. So offer or request. This is polite. So a bit like could. It's the same idea. Would you make a pot of coffee, please? Would you mind if I close the window? Okay, so that would be more polite to use would than can in that case. And it's a bit less directive to a person, right? So would is also the auxiliary that we use to conjugate a verb in the conditional. Good. So if it was sunny, I would go to the beach. So this is what I would do. Or we would help you if we had time. Great. And as for a desire, I would like some more red wine, please. Something I wish to have. I would like. This is very common to use. Good. So would can be used in the past, but in the past, it will be conjugated differently. But in those examples, everything can be used in the present and in the future. Great. So now we go to may and might. Well, may has two meanings. First could be again, an offer or a request, but it's very, very polite. If I use may, this is like the extreme of the politeness. Okay? Such as, may I ask you for your name, please? This is extremely polite. Right? You may have a seat while waiting. Good. And then may or might can express a possibility, something that I maybe do. Good. All right. So usually may has a stronger possibility than might. So we would say more or less, so 50% and more chance to have it, or might less than 50%. For example, if I say it may rain tomorrow, I understand that there's more chance that it will rain tomorrow. But if I say it might rain tomorrow, well, the possibilities are a little less than me. Right? I might take a day off next Friday. Good. It's a possibility. Or we may have some guests on Thursday. I have not decided what to do for my next vacation. I might visit a friend in Florida. I will go for a drink with you, but I may not stay long. Good. So these are all examples of possibilities in the present and in the future. Great. Must. Must, it's an obligation. It's a must. So we must do it. The must is very powerful. Good. We have no choice to do it when it's must. Often we see must with some rules. When you have rules on the sign, so you must do this or must not run near the swimming pool. Good. So often with rules, we will use must because they represent an obligation. Good. So Jason must leave in a minute, or you must not be late for your job interview. We must obtain that contract. It would be such a great opportunity. I must change my computer. It is so slow. Good. So again, these are some examples, good for either present or future. The last one we'll cover is have to. So have to is very similar as must. Good. Have to might be used a little bit more in conversation. So that would be more a familiar language. Good. And have to, this is the only modal auxiliary that we can conjugate in present, in the past, in the future, or in any verb tense. Great. So let's start here in the present. Hurry up, we have to be on time to catch the bus. She has to be here by 6 o'clock. Don't forget the S with he, she, it. We use has instead of have. And then we have two examples in the past. In the past, they had to find a new supplier last year. I had to apologize for my mistake. And then in the future, we will have to change the procedures. They're not effective anymore. Good. They will have to get rid of their old stuff. Great. So that was a review about the modal auxiliaries.